Welcome back to the Anfield Exchange, and Liverpool have just been beat on penalties in the Community Shield. My Twitter's going off at the minute. Look, I'm very disappointed in what I've just watched from Liverpool. I don't class the Community Shield as just another pre-season game. I've sat down before the game. I want to win the trophy. I want to see my team lifting the trophy. That hasn't happened. I've got a few reasons why that hasn't happened, which I'm going to go through in this video. But I've got people on Twitter telling me, "Oh, it's just a pre-season. It's just a pre-season." I don't believe that. I don't. Watch Crystal Palace lift that trophy and tell me it doesn't mean anything, because to a football fan, we've got into that game through winning the Premier League. You don't get into that game unless you've won something substantial, and we've got there off merit. Same with Crystal Palace, and to see that so many people just disregard it because we've lost the game, not for me, I'm afraid. I'm very disappointed in what I've just seen. There were some bright sparks in the game. I'll go through those first. In the first half, I thought Ekitike looked bright. Got us off to a flying start with what I would say is a very good goal. Florian Wirtz, I think he's going to be a superstar. He's Florian Wirtz if he's not already. So in this game, he hasn't done anything magical, but what he does do is it's his positioning and his touch and the way that he keeps the game flowing and the way that he creates space for other players. And when Liverpool were throwing so many bodies forward, I think he's such a vital part of how we're going to play for the upcoming season. Them two as well linked up well, Ekitike and Florian Wirtz. I thought we played well together in the first half. I think what we can say is we definitely went off the boil in the second half. And again, I think there's a few reasons for that. I would say that potentially we're not up to speed. We're not where we need to be going into the Premier League fixture a week away, less than a week away. So I think we need to work hard through the week in training. But yeah, look, I've got a few gripes. I've sat there, I've took notes, and then obviously the game's panned out the way it's panned out, and I'm completely disregarding the notes I've taken because I thought I'm just going to go at it. I thought that, let me move my phone because it's going off. I thought that Salah was poor. We saw signs of Mo Salah slowing down next season, and look, Mo Salah's got a lot of credit in the bank. He's one of the greatest players that's ever played for Liverpool, but we've seen signs last season that Mo Salah's slowing down, and I think even though he's had such a break and he's had his pre-season, he's had his break, I'm still seeing those same signs that Mo Salah is not going to be the same Mo Salah this season as he was last season, which is slightly worrying because he's a man who sort of, let's be honest, he took us to the league title last season with his goals and his assists. I hope I'm wrong on that. I'm going to give Mo Salah, like I say, because he's got credit in the bank, I'm going to give Mo Salah the benefit of the doubt, but that's a worrying sign for me. Another worrying sign is Virgil van Dijk. Not just Van Dijk, I think defensively we don't look at it. All pre-season we've looked good going forward, but defensively we have not looked good at all. I think obviously Arne Slot's asking Liverpool to play a certain type of way. Jeremy Frimpong is basically playing as a right winger. I think he's doing that so that Mo Salah has a space in the middle to get closer to goal. I think Arne Slot's trying to still build this team around Salah and get him closer to goal so he can be more dangerous. But that means Jeremy Frimpong has to be playing forward to take the defenders away. I think when that happens, we saw it too many times in this game, certainly in the first half. Too many times because Frimpong's high up the pitch. Van Dijk, Konate, Kerkez all shift across. Kerkez was playing as a centre-back at some points. We saw Gakpo coming in and covering at left-back. That cannot be the answer to the problems we're seeing. We cannot be just letting Frimpong have that freedom to stay forward, especially with his recovery pace. And don't get me wrong, we do see time and time again Frimpong coming back and recovering. But we saw it too many times where Munoz had so much space in behind, down the right wing effectively, because Gakpo wasn't quick enough to get back, but Kerkez was already shifting over as a centre-back. So that was a worrying side of me. And all throughout pre-season as well, we've seen Liverpool susceptible to the counter-attack. I think Jamie Carragher put it out as a tweet as well, said the same thing. It's a worrying sign. That was the chance to win a trophy, and this is what disappoints me. That was the chance to win a trophy. Instead, we've seen where our flaws are at, and what we should have been doing. We know these flaws because we've seen them in pre-season. But what we should have been doing is ironing out those creases for this game to go and lift this trophy. We haven't done that, and now we're going into this game on Friday, and we've still got problems that we need to solve. Yes, I know we're champions, and look, last season was a fantastic season. Are we still on a little bit of a hangover from last season where we think, look, we are the champions, we've spent all this money, we're just going to come out and we're going to walk all over you? Because I can tell you now, in the Premier League, that will not happen. And we've just seen that from Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace were by far the better team in the second half. And they battered us. They deserved to win it. McAllister probably should have given a penalty away for the handball sort of later on in the game. No idea how that wasn't given because it was a blatant penalty. But we got lucky. We got the opportunity to take its penalties. And again, I want to say Mo Salah. Mo Salah cannot be our penalty taker next season. I have zero confidence when he steps up to a penalty that he's going to put it in the back of the net. I was at the game for Bilbao. He skied it over the bar. In the short time of a week, he's put 2 penalties over the bar. This one mattered. For me, this one mattered. I know a lot of people are going to come out here in the comments and say it's only pre-season, it doesn't matter, the real work starts next week. I've had all that. I understand what you're saying with that, but this is an opportunity that we've earned to win a trophy based on the merit of what we did last season. So that's what's frustrated me the most. I think Arne Slot made a mistake. I don't know why he did it, but he took Ekatike off and brought on Endo. And he took Jones off, I think, as well. Was it? It was, yeah, Jones and Ekatike, and he brought on Endo and McAllister. We played the last half an hour without a striker. Now, whether that's a signal to the board to say, go out and get me Isak, because when Ekatike is coming off, I haven't got another striker. I don't know. I would like to think that's not what he was playing at there, because like I say, that just tells me that Arne Slot doesn't really give a shit about this trophy. I do. I sit down, I watch the game, and I want to win this trophy. I want to win every trophy that we're involved in. And that's why I'm so pissed off, because we literally played the last half an hour without a striker, and it was clear we weren't going to get any chances. We weren't going to get any goals, because the 2 players we had playing up there were Salah and Gakpo, who don't have any pace. Bring Ngomora on. Bring Chiesa on. Yeah, they brought Harvey Elliott on instead of Florian Wirtz, and I thought Harvey Elliott, to be fair, when he came on, he played quite well. But again, it's a serious lack of pace, and I just don't understand what the thought process was with taking our striker off, our only striker, our only recognised striker. If it was because he's not fully up to speed and he's not fully match fit, okay, I can understand that. But you've had pre-season, and you shouldn't be having pre-season to get your players ready for Friday against Bournemouth. Your pre-season should lead to the Community Shield against Crystal Palace, and your players should be ready to go. We fell off a cliff in the second half, and we didn't deserve to win the game. I thought first half we looked quite sharp, some of us, but second half it was just I don't know what happened in the second half, because Crystal Palace absolutely battered us. Kirkez as well. Kirkez went off towards the end. I don't know if he's picked up an injury, so that's a worry. I thought Kirkez did okay. Obviously, I think he was instructed to sort of come inside, which left Munoz with space, but I thought other than that he did okay. Curtis Jones, he's going to get a lot of criticism because he didn't really do anything that sticks in the memory, but I think I heard that he kept possession 53 times out of 53 attempted passes, so 100% pass completion. I can live with that because that's what I want. I want to see my team keep possession of the football. Curtis Jones did that. Granted, there were a few occasions where he almost gave the ball away, but the end result is he did that and kept possession very well. I thought there were a few mistakes. Szoboszlai giving the ball, sloppy balls away. Endo when he came on, this is I like Endo. I've got the Endo score. I absolutely love Endo. I don't think when Endo came on today, it was the right time to shut up shop. There were 30 minutes to go. You have no strikers. You can't get another striker onto the pitch. Why are you shutting up shop for 30 minutes? Endo's a substitution that should have come on for the last 10. You're 2-1 up. Bring Endo on. Let's close the game off. So yeah, I mean Endo, I wasn't sure about that substitution. McAllister obviously needed the minutes. And look, I'm well aware Gravenberch was missing, McAllister was missing. We didn't have a full strength squad, but we had a squad that should be able to go out there and win that game. So yeah, look, I'm very frustrated with it. And there's a lot of work to be done, because all pre-season we've seen it, and obviously I mentioned the Frimpong staying forward, and at times we had Van Dijk and Konate sat at the back. That's it. I think Curtis Jones was dropping in on occasions and Kirkes was coming across. I understand that, and if that's how Arne Slot wants to play, that's fine. But we're so susceptible to the counter attack, and we've seen it all pre-season, and I don't understand what. Okay, you can play this way, but you've got to identify the problems that we're having at the minute, and you need to solve those problems, because at the minute we look like we're very much back to the situation where it's okay. We're going to get everyone forward, and we're going to score more goals than you. That was okay when we were under Jurgen Klopp, when we had a very average team. But we don't have that anymore. We are Premier League champions. We've just spent about 300 million bringing in Wirtz, bringing in Ekitike, bringing in Frimpong, bringing in Kirkes. We should be getting these players on the ball and keeping these players on the ball as long as possible. Keep possession and stay in positions. I like Frimpong. He scored a goal today. He's played quite well, to be fair to him. Probably his best performance for Liverpool so far in over pre-season. I didn't really understand the signing of Frimpong. I think he was one of those players that we brought in because it's an easy replacement for Trent Alexander-Arnold. It's a cheap price for a player with a high reputation, but it doesn't strike me as an Arne Slot type of right back. I think Conor Bradley probably more so is an Arne Slot type of right back, but none of those two are the type of player that Trent Alexander-Arnold was. Yes, we had issues with Trent. And when Trent lost the ball, he didn't appear to have much motivation to get back in and cover. Frimpong has that, so I'm fine with that. The problem is Trent wasn't playing as a right winger when he lost the ball. When Trent lost the ball, he was in the middle of a park playing somewhere, so he was always in and around the defenders and the midfielders. He wasn't way out of the way. And that's my worry. How are we gonna rectify this? Because I'm gonna tell you now, Bournemouth are gonna come to Anfield on Friday and they're gonna sit behind the ball. They've lost some big players. They're gonna sit behind the ball. They're gonna look to counter attack. They've got pace. They've got Semenyo. They've got Kluivert. They've got what's his name, Matt Utara, Evan Nilsson. They've got pace. They're going to counter attack us, and that's where we look our weakest. So I'm frustrated with the result. I'm frustrated at the fact that I've just watched Crystal Palace lifting this trophy. But what frustrates me the most is how are we going to sort these problems out? And look, let me know what you guys think in the comments. I know you're all going to say it's just a pre-season game and it doesn't really matter. But I'm frustrated because we've lost the opportunity to lift another trophy, and it's that. It's not just we've lost the Community Shield. It's that it's the mindset that we should be going into these games with a champions mindset, thinking we want to win every trophy. And I'm sure the players have, and I'm sure the manager has, and we haven't won it on this occasion. But the performance of the players, some of the players, and the performance of the manager doesn't feel like they have that mindset, and that's what's most frustrating because. I remember when Man United were dominating under Alex Ferguson, Man City more recently. They go into these games and yes, they expect to win, but they expect to win because they win time and time and time and time again. We've just gone to a cup final. On paper, let's lay it out. We've gone to a cup final and we've lost against Crystal Palace, a mid-table Premier League team. That's not good enough for me. We should be building that mindset of we are champions, we win every game, we win every trophy, and this performance today is not doing that, and that's where my main frustration comes in to this. Yeah, let me know what you guys think. Get in the comments. Let me know what you thought of the performances. I actually thought that the new guys, it was Ekatike's best performance in the Liverpool shirt. I think it was Vert's best performance in the Liverpool shirt. Same with Frimpong. Same with, maybe not Kirkes. I think Kirkes could have done a little bit better. But I actually thought the new guys looked good today, and they look like they're gelling as a team, and that hopefully will be enough going forward to get us past this stumbling block of we look clueless in the second half, and I don't want to see that again. So look, time will tell. Hopefully we'll go on and we get a good result against Bournemouth, and we can build on that, and this game we can look back on in 6 months' time and say that game meant nothing because we sat top of the Premier League, we're in the Champions League knockout stages, and do you know what I mean? I'm just talking in the now. I'm frustrated at what I've just watched. Let me know what you guys think. I'll see you on the next one.